Hi, my name is Benjamin Carlyle and I'm a marriage celebrant who creates awesome and authentic wedding ceremonies. So these days the celebrant isn't just a formality, and I do find that couples are booking the celebrant in line with their photographer and their florist and their stylist, and sometimes even the venue. So it's definitely best to get in earlier rather than later. And it's great to see that couples are making the celebrant a big component of their day, and they're seeing the worth in having a great celebrant. And if they leave it till too late, they may miss out on the better ones in the industry. So it is good to see, and sometimes I'll get asked what dates I'm free so they can lock their venue in. So with music, I think it's key to not follow the pack in your choices, and to really play music that you love and you'd play at home and play in the car. And there's no need to play music that everyone else is playing. So play things that are authentic to your vibe and your style. And you know, it doesn't matter how quirky the music is. Get that in the mix. Even drop a few bangers in the ceremony. So it's all about us seeing what's important to you, and that's what we want to get into as your guests and your crowd. We want to hear what's important to you. So I'm lucky enough to meet a lot of my couples over Skype or a coffee, and we get to hang out and chat about who they are as a couple and their journey together and what's brought them to this moment of their life together. And I get to hear the good and bad experiences they've had with other celebrants and ceremonies they've attended. I get to hear the good, the bad, the ugly of their story together, and then I get to explain also how I get to create authentic ceremonies and how we make an awesome ceremony, and also the legal goals as well. What are our legal goals we need to kick that makes the ceremony legally complete? There's definitely been a rise in couples asking to have unplugged ceremonies, so I'm lucky enough to mention to their guests that just to put their phones away for the 20 minutes that we're in the ceremony, and it's great to see people acknowledge that and just to switch off for 20 minutes and be a part of it. You can't be fully engaged in the ceremony if you're trying to view it all through your phone and take selfies, and especially when the couples get their photos back and they realise everyone had their phone out as the bride was walking down the aisle. That would be pretty bad to see them with all their mates who weren't really connected and enjoying the moment. So yeah, people enjoyed being told to, hey, put your phone away, it's 20 minutes, you can take lots of selfies later. So with all of my ceremonies, I'm trying to make them as authentic to the couple as possible. And you know, if the couple's really fun and warm, and then that's the kind of ceremony we're going to have. We only need to kick 2 legal goals in the wedding ceremony, so everything else is a bonus. And yeah, let's just be authentic. We don't need to fill the ceremony with boring readings and rituals. Let's just make it all killer and no filler. And yeah, let's make it as fun as the couple is and suit their vibe and style. And I've got a great questionnaire I give to my couples, which enables me to tell it all in their vibe and their style and their language. And speaking to the guests afterwards, this is awesome, because it appears that I'm a mate of theirs and I've got a great connection with them and who they are, and that, to me, that's key. So the ceremony should be fun, it should be warm, it should kickstart their wedding day party. It's not just the formality that it used to be seen as. So when the crowd arrives at the wedding, they're waiting to be told what to do. So it's my job to warm the crowd up. I'm the wedding fluffer, so I get to engage the crowd and warm them up and get them to have a clap and cheer, and to encourage them that they're as much a part of the experience as the bride and the groom is. So we engage them, and then we also get them to turn to the person next to them and introduce themselves and make a friend. And there's this beautiful warm banter that's happening before the bride arrives, and I'm hanging out with the groom and chatting away. And then in the ceremony, everybody's engaged. They're clapping and cheering at the same time, they're oohing and ahhing, and maybe the happy tears are flowing at the same time as well. So once they're told that they're an important part of the experience, they're super happy to get involved. Definitely, you've definitely got to have a plan B ready to roll, and you should start planning your wet weather option when you lock your venue in. You can't leave it till 2 days before the wedding rolls along because the weather's become adverse. We do have great weather apps these days. It'll pretty much tell us to the hour when it's going to rain, but yeah, if you leave it till the last 2 days when you should be planning other components, you'll definitely be stressing out. You'll stress yourselves out, your family, your friends, and also all of your vendors who are scrambling to accommodate to your needs. So it's not hard to find a plan B. Your venue, much like this fantastic venue you're in today, has a great plan B. So make sure in your search for a venue that they do have an option nearby or can suggest something for you to roll. So nerves I think history will show us that you should be nervous in your wedding ceremony. There's something, so people get to that part of their experience and they put all their planning and they think they need to be nervous, and they definitely don't need to be nervous, but we feel that we should be, and I think it comes down to good planning. So if you've got all your goals kicked a couple of days before the wedding, that allows you to hang out with your friends and your family and relax into those 2 days before, rather than running around writing your speech, writing your vows and kicking all your goals. So it's my job on the day to come and hopefully connect with the bride and definitely connect with the groom, and just to make sure they've got their feet on the ground, because especially when the groom arrives and all the guests are arriving, it starts getting very real for him, and then when everybody's seated. So to avoid the nerves building and overwhelming the groom, we play some music, we engage the crowd and encourage them to talk amongst themselves. And so then I'm there with the groom talking to him about what he's into and his hobbies and what he's been doing before the wedding, and hopefully I've also had a chance to connect with the bride and just be that person who can bring their feet onto the ground and ground them rather than letting their nerves carry them away. I've had tequila shots at the end of the wedding ceremony. I've had weddings in the surf, which is pretty amazing. So out in the surf, conducting the wedding with the rings and the vows and the kiss, and then the dance was the surfing along the waves. Probably the best and most funnest inclusion I had was when we had a reading, and so a guy got up with a Bible, and which he'd just recently purchased from the op shop, and he got up there saying he was doing a reading from the book of John, and here he was with his Bible, and he said this reading meant a lot to him about marriage, and so the reader got up and with a lot of confidence and started saying the words for Living on a Prayer by John Bon Jovi, and then we all joined in singing on the chorus, and then said Bible was tossed over the shoulder, and it was probably one of the best readings I've ever had. So I think that's possibly one of the best inclusions I've ever had. So DIY weddings are great in theory. Yes, you can save a bit of money, but you put yourself and your family and your friends under a lot of pressure and stress, especially in the lead up, the day before, the day after, even on the day itself, you're all running around. So it's so important if you're going DIY to hire at least a planner for the on-the-day planning. That'll just take away all your stress and your nerves, and hopefully the planner will have a good run sheet for you and be in contact with your vendors, because you can't be doing that as a couple on your wedding day. So yes, DIY is great, let's save a bit of cash, but don't be surprised when you add it all up at the end that it probably costs the same to get married with a planner. So please get a planner. So I'm a big surf addict and try and get in the surf every other day. When the surf's pumping, I'm not working, and when the surf's not pumping, I'm working. So I love to get out in the ocean, get physical. I love the mindfulness that I gain from surfing, and just detaching from my work. I'm a super busy guy, so yeah, love getting out in the ocean, and my kids love it too, so I love jumping in there with them and having fun. So to me, I'm loving finding some spaces in my life to have some time out and to become mindful. So that's really important to me, to make sure I'm keeping my feet on the ground and being balanced as a father and also as a husband. And in having better systems in place for me this last year has made a huge difference. So I'm spending more time with my family rather than running around in a circle. And I've got a great workflow with my clients, which is less work for them and also less work for me as well, and achieving great results. So it's super important for me to, if I'm going to be up there talking about love, I should have a great love in my life and connection with my family as well. So yeah, definitely finding time to be mindful with myself and my family is key. So I'm a big sucker for seeing the couple connect at the top of the aisle when the bride comes down the aisle, and the first moment of the ceremony. So to me, that's the moment where all of their planning comes together, and it could have been a year of planning or 6 months or even longer. And it's great to see, you can't guess how you're going to feel in that moment. It's akin to when your child comes into the world for the first time. You never know how you're going to feel. So it's great to see the groom's reaction, the bride, and if the dad or the mum are walking the bride down the aisle, to see all of those beautiful reactions, and then to see the couple check each other out in their dresses and suits, and yeah, that beautiful timeless moment they get to share, and they can't speak, and the groom might be making some funny noises or some happy tears. So to me, that's a pretty big highlight for me. The beauty of an elopement or an intimate wedding is we can go to some beautiful spaces. So we can, walk to the bottom of a waterfall, which I was lucky enough to do recently, or to a headland, or to remote beaches. So if you are having an intimate experience, don't be afraid to find some places which are away from other humans, and that way you can have a more intimate experience. Try to plan your day around when the sun's setting, so you've got some beautiful light. Try not to have your ceremony in the middle of the day. If you want to elope, try not to tell too many people, because then 10 will turn into 20 into 30. So if you are going to elope, then try and keep it on the down low. And I guess people elope for different reasons, but it is to have a more intimate experience. So, and have fun. Don't think you need to get stressed because you're planning an intimate wedding or elopement. Yes, it's a wedding experience, you're getting married, but it's super fun. So in my own wedding experience, I found in setting up my own styling on the beach and doing a bit of DIY, I did find that I ran out of time and didn't allow myself enough time. And as my guests were arriving, I was running around, I was a little bit flustered. And so by the time my bride arrived, I was feeling really overwhelmed and nervous and anxious even, and didn't feel as grounded as I should be. So when it came time to say my vows, I couldn't even speak. My beautiful wife got hers out and laughed, and I just couldn't even get the words from my brain into the microphone. And so that was the day I learnt how important it is to make sure the groom and the bride is really relaxed and grounded. And so then I was pretty spent actually, and it took a lot of adrenaline out of me, and that was a huge takeaway from my wedding. I had a fun, relaxed wedding experience, so there wasn't too much pressure, and but that's my takeaway. So it's going to be interesting in this next royal wedding to see the content in their ceremony. Obviously the whole day's played out, and the last royal wedding, the language in the ceremony was really heavy, archaic even. So it's going to be interesting to see how they roll this time. The couple probably being a little bit more modern. It's going to be cool to see, hey, let's see if they do change the language a little bit. Even though it is a religious ceremony, there's still the room for them to move in their ceremony. So I'm looking forward to people getting on and asking me if my wedding's going to be like that. I'm definitely looking forward to Harry's outfit. He's a pretty fun character. It'll be cool to see if he brings his fun into the ceremony, and if they allow the couple to maybe even write their own vows. That's what I'm looking forward to see if they're going to push the envelope of their ceremony. It is going to be religious, obviously, so let's see if they have a bit of room to move in their ceremonies.